Hi Vidur. How are you,
Hi,
Vidur?
good, good. How are you doing? How's everyone? Good morning.
Everybody is fine. So Vidur, all our people are quite excited to listen to you last time. So they are trying to listen in and see what's the new story you're going to tell. Okay. So I don't need to introduce again. So you can just start with the session. All our people
Absolutely,
are eagerly
absolutely.
waiting.
Sure,
We
sure.
are sharp on time. Thanks, Vidur.
Not a problem. And thank you very much, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in again. I have received questions as well from multiple of you, many of you, for cybersecurity session. I will definitely respond back. Maybe in case we have for privacy session as well, I'll take up that. So today we're gonna talk about privacy. If you all recollect the last session which we did, that was more around cybersecurity. And today we're gonna talk about privacy. I just wanted to validate: is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Great. So, as we go along, we gonna understand privacy as a very basic concept. And I know last time I guess I kept the session was slightly lengthier than an hour. Today I'll definitely try to wrap up in 45 minutes so that we have 15 minutes to for questions. And yeah, that's something I guess each one of us do face, that how does my information is available with virtually everyone, from starting from when I try to book a travel ticket for somewhere, or any hotel, or any even small products that we try to buy at home. So, okay, what I intend to cover is what is privacy. Privacy as a concept, and I will request each one of you on the call to specifically pay attention to this first section, because I'm trying to distinguish between security and privacy. As you go along, you will understand it's fairly intertwined subject. Both enable each other. However, in a standalone manner or conceptually, I'm just saying both from a concept for you or all of you, as you in case you want to pursue this as a career, as a area of interest, as well as maybe just from your subject perspective, syllabus and examination perspective also. Please understand these are two separate concepts: data privacy and security. Then we specifically, whenever data privacy is talked about, there are a lot of global regulations, global laws which are referred. There have been certain countries, there have been certain regions in the globe which have been fairly mature, which did step up or start their privacy journey much ahead of India. So we will just briefly talk about them. And then definitely I want to talk about data privacy in India, that as a concept, where we are as a legal framework, where we are, are we doing something about it or not? And then, as I said, maybe run you through certain, happy to take certain questions. With this, sharing some statistics, which I guess many of you would be broadly aware of, but if you just try and look at it, maybe if I just pick it up, 800,000 or 8 lakhs, as we say, Facebook logins per minute, or maybe if you look at WhatsApp, which is virtually like 29, that is, yes, 29 million is almost 2 crore 90 lakh uh, messages which are being exchanged on WhatsApp at the moment when we speak. So that's a huge thing, right? 29 million is huge amount. Or any of the statistics. The intent to showcase is that that's the huge amount of data which is being shared. And when I say data, it's messages. It can be generic messages. I may be sending to everybody about a latest Bollywood movie, or just general information, or it can be something a little personal. Say hypothetically, maybe I'm interacting with Koshi. It can be maybe only about our office, which only me and Koshi are supposed to share, or maybe it's just personal, information which two of us are sharing. So just the plethora of information which is going on, and that's why I'm just trying to build the context that there's a huge amount of volume which is going around in the world, going around in the globe, on the internet every minute as we speak. And then, of course, what's the pieces that we have seen? Just again, pick some of the large ones, and you will see anything or any data breach which has happened is typically talking about 50 million or 20 million. 1 million is 10 lakhs, so which essentially means if it's 21 million, we're talking of 2 crore instances, we are talking of 5 crore instances, kind of a thing. Obviously, please do understand that if any data breach gets highlighted, if any data leak or data breach gets highlighted, which essentially means maybe 10 lakh, 50 lakhs, or even 1 crore, 2 crore, or even more people have been breached, because data of 5 people, 10 people, or if I just only myself, I cry about that my data has been leaked, kind of a thing, it may not gather as much media this thing, or it might be a one-off instance. But when data of this size, and if you all realize now what kind of a volume we are talking of, if you're talking of 2 crore data or 5 crore information being going out, kind of a thing. So that's been the reality. Okay, so everyone, again, if you recollect, even in the cybersecurity session, there were 1 or 2 slides where I wanted everyone to leave what they were doing and pay attention. So this is one of the slides specifically for privacy, because I'm just trying to distinguish what privacy means. We'll start from the left side. If you can see, information privacy extends beyond information security, and essentially it's about the entire life cycle of personal information. What is personal information? We will, as we go along, we will understand. It's predominantly anything which can identify me. I'll repeat that. What is personal information? Personal information is any piece of data, any piece of data set which can identify me. Let's take an example. My name, yes, Vidur. I won't call it. It's like a very unique name, but it can identify me. Address, my home address where I stay, yes, that can definitely identify me, because that's a unique address. The flat number XYZ or house number ABC is just one in this entire society or a locality where I'm living. So definitely that's something which can identify me. Something like a credit card number. All of you know that those long 16-digit credit card numbers that we see, that is linked to one person. They don't issue the same credit card number to multiple people. So that is something which can definitely identify a person. So anything, any data set or data information which can link back to an individual is considered a personal identifiable information. It is called PII. And that is what privacy is entirely based on. It is essentially saying that any information which is related to an individual, that needs to be protected. And that's the reason you see those are two separate pieces. Definitely, why security plays a role and why do you see intersect is because privacy cannot be enabled without security. What does security does? Security, if you all recall, we talked about something called confidentiality, integrity, availability, right? CIA, if many of you recollect those pieces. So the confidentiality is one of the key pieces of security. So therefore, we would need help of security to enable the privacy. And that's where on the top you see security for privacy is the protection of personal information. That's what you're holding it back. If I see from the right-hand side, those are the pieces which I was talking about, that information security is nothing but three pillars around confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. And of course, there can be no privacy without security, as I mentioned specifically that security is used to enable the privacy. And that's why there is an intersect. I'll just use one more one more slide for each one of you to understand, and for you guys to pay attention. If you recollect, I used a term called PII, which is personal identifiable information. That is something which you see on the bottom part of the slide, which is the gray, the light gray kind of a thing, which is mentioned as personal data. It can be my name, it can be my email address, my date of birth. Many of you might feel that how does date of birth can link an individual. You will also have to see, whenever we talk of privacy, also in combination, a date of birth with a combination of one more information definitely can link back an individual. Or for example, if I had a set of limited data, the date of birth definitely can link it back, can relate back to a unique individual. These are characteristics which are supposed to be unique in nature and of course considered as identifiable. Things like maybe my account number, my credit card number, bank information, and of course the passwords also. Passwords as well as email addresses is being considered as personal data, as personal identifiable information. There's another category which I want you to focus on, which is called sensitive personal information. Now, what does sensitive personal information means? It means that it is personal information. However, it is something slightly more detailed about an individual and telling about his or her characteristics. For example, the caste or the religion that I follow, or the political belief that I have, or a political leader that I follow. Each one of us maybe have a favorite political party or a religion we have for our own reasons we believe is something which we follow, which we respect, kind of a thing. But that is something which is very individual to me. That's something which is supposed to be a very close personal information to me. So therefore, some of these elements have been identified, have been called out as sensitive personal data. And biometric definitely is considered as one of them. What is biometric? The information which are typically taken, I'm sure if many of you would have Aadhaar card, you would recollect that at the time of getting an Aadhaar card made, we all have to give our fingerprints, we have to give our iris information. Now that is biometric information. When we go to offices, a lot of offices have biometric things, that it is thumb enabled, that when I enter the office can actually track that what time Vidur entered, and is it Vidur only entering or somebody else trying to impersonate Vidur. So therefore, they do take a thumb impression or an iris impression, iris information. Those are the pieces which are typically called personal, sensitive personal data. You will hear terms like, I'm just leaving you with those terms, something called PFI, personal financial information, or PHI, personal health information. Now, these are all sets of personal information itself, but depending on what information they contain. If it is about my bank accounts, my transactions, which accounts do I send the money from, or which accounts do I receive the money from, that's personal financial information. Anything about my health, like obviously my medical history, maybe if unfortunately I had certain health problems, certain health challenges, what kind of a treatment I'm going through, what kind of medicines I'm taking. That's again, which is considered as a personal information sensitive, and is supposed to be protected. As we go along, we will see. I know maybe many of us may be wondering, and I'm just saying, if privacy is a new concept to you, that in our daily life, when we walk into a hospital, or when we go to a bank, we don't see those many stringent controls, or we don't see so many people being so sensitive or hyper about that thing. Yes, I think as we go along, we will see that as a country, we still have a journey to cover around privacy awareness, privacy understanding, that what privacy is. We as Indians are fairly open to share information. We do, tell about our personal information to a lot of people. So, it's just our nature. But, as we go along, you will see that there are certain things that Government of India, state departments, they are doing it to make our personal information a little more secure. What's been happening in the data privacy across this thing? I just thought that's just on a lighter note. I don't know if many of you know what is the concept of cloud security, and you can relate to it, that maybe somebody up there, sitting up there, is going through our data, while some company may say, we have stored your data on cloud, and you never know who's sitting up there and going through our data. Okay, on a serious note, and I know it looks like a multicolored global chart. Yes, the intent was that, and on the left-hand side, if you see, there are certain legends. I'll just walk you through. The intent is anything that you see in a slightly reddish color and a dark orange. It is indicating that there is a data regulation, and it is fairly robust kind of a thing, or it is fairly strong in nature. Anything which is in yellowish kind of a thing is obviously saying that something is coming up, moderate kind of a thing. And then obviously the ones which are green says limited, or white, right now it does not even exist. India is showing like a dark orange, which is robust. Personally, of course, I've leveraged this from a website. Personally, if you ask me as a cybersecurity privacy professional, I would like to call our country in yellow, which is moderate. That yes, we do have certain things, and there is a good journey roadmap plan for us as a country on data privacy. But we're not there as much. Countries like USA, if you see, while you do see them in red, and then you also see certain lines, and if you relate back to the legend, it also mentions sectoral. Now, what does that mean? One, what it means is that as a country, they have fairly stringent data privacy regulation. They have fairly, strict privacy laws, rules. But on top of it, they also have sectoral one. When I say sector, I mean, for example, financial sector has added privacy mandate. Maybe water and power, or maybe electricity, power and utility, power and electricity have an additional privacy mandate. So what does it mean if I relate back to India as a country? That if something Government of India establishes today, it says ABC is a privacy law from today onwards. So everybody, including maybe MJC as a college itself, will have to start following it for the thing. The company where I work, they will have to follow the privacy laws, and everybody around us, the companies, the departments and all. However, if I happen to be an ICICI bank, or if I happen to be an HDFC bank, I might have additional privacy controls, because RBI, all of you know, the Reserve Bank of India, which is the nodal body which drives all the governance in banks and non-banking financials. Now they would have additional regulations. They will say that yes, while Government of India has already asked you to do A, B, C, D, because you are a bank, you handle financials, you handle information related to money about everybody. I want you to also do X, Y, and Z, on top of it. So while you do follow what Government of India is saying, but please do 3 more things because I am asking you to do. And of course, an ICICI bank or an HDFC bank or an any bank for that matter will follow, because RBI is a governing regulator. It's a regulator that if I am working in financial sector, if I am a bank, if I am a non-banking financial institute, I need to adhere to what RBI is asking. I'm shifting back to what USA I was talking about. That's what it means, that there are various sectors, be it financial, be it power, certain things around nuclear, certain things around law enforcement. They have specific sectors where they have additional requirements. And as we go along, I think I'll definitely call it out. One is US.
Vidur, have you stopped sharing the slides? Just that I can't see it.
Okay. For me, it is saying it's sharing. Maybe if someone else can also validate.
People, can you see the slides?
Are you able to see?
Yes, we can. Yes, I can.
Okay, maybe it just happened to me. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay. So, why is this globally? Why is the focus so much on privacy? What is the specific reason? And many of you, I'm sure you are able to relate to it. But I'll purposely pick up the second bullet point, which says personal information is a valuable asset through intelligence and monetization opportunities. What does it mean? It specifically means that I can draw so much inferences, so much intelligence from that information, from that personal information, and definitely, more importantly for all the businesses and for the large business houses, it's a monetization opportunity. Now, let me pick up a very basic example. If hypothetically today I had to know, I'm just again relating to an example which many of you can relate. If I had a data set of 10,000 mobile numbers, and if I am say a bookseller, or if I am somebody into who prints books for colleges, or if I supply stationery to colleges, kind of a thing. Now, if I have a set of 10,000 mobile numbers, I do not know. I just know these are 10,000 mobile numbers. I will send an SMS saying, hey, my shop is here. I give books for colleges. I supply stationery for your college equipments, kind of a thing. Yes, it's important information. It has gone to 10,000 people. Now, just imagine that what if I know specifically that these 10,000 people are only from colleges. So, for example, I'm just saying maybe college like students like you, or where I am in Delhi University, maybe Delhi University, kind of a thing. The difference is that when an SMS comes to me, I'm not luckily I've gone through the entire hard part of my life, if I may say, on a lighter note. But if today I receive that SMS that, I'm a bookseller for college books, I'll just look at it and delete the message, or I'll just close the message. It may not be of that much importance to me, because maybe today my kids are also younger. But if that information had to specifically, if that message comes to you or to Delhi University students, only the students, if that SMS goes only to the set of students, it's a targeted information, it's a targeted this thing. The chances of conversion, the chances of people calling back that phone number, or people going to that, responding to that message, or responding to that advertisement is fairly high. So therefore, the monetization opportunity, I've taken a very, very basic example. Now, same thing starts applying heavily when many of you see those SMS when we get from bank accounts saying that 100 rupees debited, 100 rupees deposited. There are a lot of applications. There are a lot of when we download certain things, it actually reads those messages. They actually make meaning out of that messages. Now, again, somebody is wondering, how does it make a difference that 100 rupees got debited from my account, kind of a thing? Try and contextualize that if they have information of, say, again, 1 lakh 1 lakh people, and they see that there are of 10,000 people who typically do transactions which are huge, 10,000 debited, 10,000 received, 20,000 debited, 20,000 received. It seems like that these people are somebody who have, they have higher disposable income. They have access to better, for whatever reasons, they have access to much more maybe resources. And therefore, if I had to target a luxury product, or if I had to target that kind of a segment, that someone who can afford 10,000 rupees, who regularly uses 10,000 rupees of purchase, or money comes to him, is more meaningful vis-a-vis somebody who's perhaps on a day-to-day basis only transacts with 50 rupees, 100 rupees kind of thing. I'm just giving an example that why the terms like data is new oil. I do not know if you all have heard of that term. A lot of people have been using it. What does it mean? Some of you may wonder. So oil is always considered to be a very, very precious resource. Maybe, yes, in last 4-5 months, we did see a big sinusoidal wave, but oil is always considered as a very precious natural resource. I'm sure all of you know Middle East countries, and many of these countries which are oil rich are also considered to be cash rich countries. So therefore, a new term which nowadays is being used is called data is new oil, which essentially is that if you have access to a huge amount of data, can run intelligence, run analytics on it. It is going to be, that's what is new oil. And believe me, this seems like a very small, of course, because I'm trying to give very basic examples, but there are huge set of companies, huge set of organizations consisting of 500 people, 1,000 people who are only into this, who are into information intelligence, who are helping in information monetization. That's what their business is. That's what their work is. And therefore, as we go along, we will understand it. It's not whatever I'm talking. I'm not trying to say that it is illegal or it is wrong. There are legal means. There are legal permissions which are taken and taken from many of us also, which sometimes willingly or unwillingly we might have given it. So there is a defined mechanism. There is a defined set of activities which people are doing it. Coming back, that why the focus on privacy is increasing. One is, of course, the privacy awareness of individual citizens, of public, has been increasing. I would still call that maybe in our country as India, maybe not as much, but some of the countries, some of the regions, especially like European Union, all those countries like UK, Germany, France, you will see that they are fairly aware. The citizens, the people out there are very aware about their personal information. And similarly for countries like US, some of these countries. In fact, in Asia, Singapore is considered to be one of them. China, I would just say that yes, it does have strong privacy elements, but it also is the reason that because government has fairly strong controls. Government is able to drive a lot of things, which maybe because the way the structure of law of the land is there. And of course, as we go along, we'll see also, because the good data privacy governance is being asked by everybody. It's being asked by regulators as well as the stakeholders. That can be shareholders, that can be citizens, that can be anybody in terms of the brand image perception. That's something which is on very focus. Okay, what's been the privacy journey in India? Let me talk through that. Yes, it looks huge, this thing. I'll pick up from 2000 and 2008, and I'll if most of you, if you recollect, when we did cybersecurity session, you remember I talked about something called IT Act 2000, IT Amendment Act in 2008. That's where the privacy journey started. Again, if you recall, and I did share the slides, so maybe later on when my cybersecurity session slides and privacy slides are perhaps accessible to all of you. You can refer to them, or you can go to Google also. That IT Act, we did talk about certain clauses like Section 43, Section 43A. Some of them had a flavor of privacy. I won't call it that they were very specifically around data protection, but they did have it. Now, those were the things almost, what we are talking about 10 years back, 12 years back, which got established, and they had. Especially if many of you do or hear, that back in somewhere around 2000, 2002, 2003 onwards, which is again, of course, almost 15, 18 years back I'm talking about, there was a big wave, there was a big push of BPOs. In India started inviting a lot of companies to set up their back offices, back office processing organization, operations started happening here. And that's where the data protection also became fairly important, because I'm just taking an example because I'm aware. Let's say Citibank. I'm sure you would be aware that Citibank may have its offices headquartered maybe in UK or in Singapore and those places, but they do have huge presence in India where they have big back office which has thousands of employees sitting in India and supporting different countries. So they are helping a Citibank Singapore or a Citibank UK to run their banks in that country by sitting here, by maybe managing their computers, by managing their paperwork, by managing some of the pieces, kind of a thing. Now, when that started happening, there were a lot of questions by various countries, those various big companies asked to India that what are you doing for your data protection? Do you have stringent mechanisms? And that's where our privacy journey started. All those pieces that you see starting 2011, 2013, 2017 onwards have been our effort to get a data privacy regulation come in. Yes, it seems like a long journey, that it's been 7-8 years and we're still talking of a draft. We are not talking of privacy law. That I do also feel on a personal front that maybe as a country we sort of missed out the bus. We got a little slow on that journey. Of course, for various reasons. Sure, as a country we have so many of our own challenges that government gets occupied with so much of pieces. But on a front that yes, we did start. There was somebody called, when you are doing study about privacy specifically from an India perspective, you will come across a name called Justice B.N. Sri Krishna, or Justice Krishna. It's commonly heard. There was a committee set up under him. He was a retired judge. Under him there was a privacy committee which was set up, which gave a lot of, if I may say, guidance, framework, and suggestions of India. And basis that committee report, something called PDP, Personal Data Protection Bill in 2019 was presented in Parliament. It was submitted in winter session somewhere around November 2019. It is currently with the standing committee. The Parliament gave it to a standing committee, saying that please go through it, look at pros and cons, and please see. We are sitting in 2020. It is expected. We are expecting that India will have its own privacy law coming in soon. I'm gonna talk on the next two slides purposely around that what is that, and specifically just to give you a flavor that what does personal data protection means, and why it is being touted as so important thing. And post that, I'm happy to take questions. So what is PDPB, which I said, Personal Data Protection Bill? It's of course, and what is the reason? I'm sure all of you understand that in last 5 years, 7 years, there has been a lot of digital India, which many of you have been hearing about. One, of course, we do hear some of the political parties talking about digital India, but also actually, if you see, if some of you have got your license made recently, or if some of you went for now many of you would have crossed age of 18 and would have got your voter ID card made and all those things, you would see there are a lot of digital things. You don't have to fill up long physical forms. Many of those things are available online. You can apply online. You can take appointment online. Passport is a very good example. If many of you would have got your passport made in recent years, you would see it's an online application. You don't have to fill papers. You can fill it up online. You can submit it online. It gives you an option of appointment also. So, some of these things, I know you're young students, but maybe myself, Matthew, Koshi, many of us can relate, because back in earlier days, we have filled a lot of long forms. We used to fill that up. We used to stand in long queues in government offices to get our passport updated, or get a passport, or get our driving license. Fortunately, many of those things have moved. The reason I'm trying to relate to it is that as many things become digital, as so much of digital information on computers, on electronic form is captured, it also becomes more important for keeping it protected. And not only from government perspective, but also, please understand, from businesses. I'll take my again that day when I was taking example of a Airtel or a Vodafone. Those are private organization, but or someone like a Jio, Reliance Jio. You would have seen that they have crores of customers. Each one of them have some multi-crore users, subscribers. So just imagine the huge amount of personal information they have. When I apply for an Airtel connection, I have all my things. They have taken my Aadhaar information. They have taken my address. So much information. So there is definitely a need for us as a country to have a privacy framework, kind of a thing. And who will it apply to? There is a term which is being introduced, fiduciary, which is, if you see, who does PDPB apply to? And the first line, it applies to all the data fiduciaries that you see and processors. Fiduciaries is nothing but anybody who's collecting your data. There is a difference between data fiduciary, data person, somebody who collects the data, and someone who processes the data. The easiest example I can give you again from a Airtel perspective. Maybe Airtel might be both data fiduciary as well as processor, because they are the one who are collecting the data, as well as they are the one who are processing also data. Maybe for their segmentation perspective, if they want to say somebody is a platinum customer because he uses more of our mobile, his bill is higher, so he's a platinum customer. somebody is a silver customer because he's a moderate user. So that's processing also. So anyone who is collecting data, any company, any government department, it will apply to. And this is one of the first, if I may call it, privacy regulation, which is indicating that it will even have government under its gambit. Obviously, that was there in the draft. We are yet to see what happens when it comes in the actual sense, but that's what it means. On the right hand side, you will also see that why it is such an important privacy regulation, why it is being, everybody is looking forward. Just look at the penalties, and you can understand a penalty of 15 crore is a huge amount, is a big amount. Right? It's definitely a big deterrence. If now if I know that if I am a company, or if of any company, if it for some reason misses out on protecting the data, they can get a penalty of 15 crore, which is too huge. Of course, they have graded it depending on what kind of data breach happened. Was it because of your failure? Was it because of something which you while you did best of your controls, you are able to demonstrate something which you see as on the second paragraph under penalties, that failure to conduct DPIA, which is data protection internal audit. There is a mechanism in this draft privacy bill that it says that you should carry out your audits regularly. If you're not carrying it out, kind of thing, there are certain implications. Now, what will it help? How will it help us as a country? One is that each one of us will have a better understanding of privacy as citizens. But more importantly, all the organizations who are collecting this information, all the government departments, I'm sure all of you understand when these huge schemes which government really, launches. You must have been coming across schemes for farmers, schemes for individual citizens. For most of them, they ask for that, please, you have to submit your Aadhaar ID. Aadhaar is an information that government is trying to ask, and then for the right reasons. They are asking it to validate, to authenticate that are you the person whom you are claiming to be. But that's a personal information, and therefore, for any scheme which either is relating to a monetary benefit or rebates or subsidy, everything is being collected basis the personal information. So one is to understand that there is so much of information being collected. The second is more in terms of assessment. There is going to be a lot of focus which government is going to drive through this law, that please understand what is the implication, what kind of information, and is it even needed. Lot of times, and that happens with a lot of applications also. You would see when you're registering the application, it will ask for some of the periphery information. It may not apply to many of the students, but you would see many of the websites just ask, what is your anniversary date, birth date. I know it is important because they want to validate your age. They want to confirm your age, that are you fairly mature or of that age to have access to that service. But do many of these websites, many of the places we go to, they just ask for a lot of additional information, your address, what is your favorite car, what kind of a holiday would you like to go to. So the intent is that now government is also going to drive some bit of assessment, that in terms of what information is being collected and what is that purpose, and definitely a roadmap that what all these departments, what all these organizations should need to be adhering to. This is like my last slide, and I'm still sticking to personal data protection bill, and therefore you'll be able to relate to some of the privacy elements. These slides will come to you, so you can read it in detail. But I'll pick up just 2-3 of examples that what will change, and again I'm trying to for you to make it easier to understand privacy as a concept. The one of the first pieces which I've mentioned, that any personal data, sensitive personal data, or information related to child will have to be obtained by consent. This is what something which government is trying to drive. What does it mean? Obtained by consent. What does that mean? I've highlighted obtained by consent. What government is trying to say is that now you have to explicitly take permission. When I say explicitly take permission, that either if it's an electronic form, have a small tick box saying that, yes, I give my permission. I give my permission to use that information. Or if I'm filling a manual form, I will have to sign under it. There will be a explicit piece which says that, yes, I'm giving my permission. So they are collecting the information by consent. I am giving my consent. I am concurring. I am saying, yes, please go ahead and use this information. I'm allowing you. That's something which they are definitely going to drive. The reason is, a lot of time in older days, information was collected without our permission, without an individual realizing that his personal information is being picked up or is being collated. One of the other things which is definitely going to happen is that everybody who's a data fiduciary, when I said, you remember, anybody who collects the data, he or she, when that entity would be asked to appoint a data protection officer. Many of you would have heard of a term called CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, if you all can relate to that. Similarly, there is a piece around, now they are trying to drive for data protection, which is around that you will have a data protection officer. There is going to be a lot of, and you may have heard of a lot of debate in newspapers or TV going almost 1 year back about a term called data localization. I do not know if many of you can relate to, but let me explain. There has been a debate that if an information is about Indian citizens and if it has been collected in India, please don't store it outside. Don't store it outside the geography, physical geography of India. What does it mean? If many of you, if you understand what is a cloud, cloud, at times the cloud does not necessarily mean the cloud service provider have its data center in India. Or let's pick up the easiest example, Facebook, which each one of us can relate to. Facebook or a Gmail, right? Have you ever thought that all the pictures that you share on Facebook or that you upload on the Gmail, where is it getting stored? Where are the servers? The Facebook has their servers in US. The Google or the Gmail has their servers on typically in US, right? In their parent company, in the company where they originate from. That's by design. But the services are available here. So, but what Indian law, the appended new law, what is trying to say is that if you're going to collect information about an Indian citizen, if Vidur starts uploading his personal information, his personal pictures, his information on Facebook or Gmail, they're also asking a Facebook or a Google or a Gmail to have a data center, to have a server within India, so that please store the information here itself. It's still being debated. It's still something which is yet to be finalized. They are trying to see that maybe they will grade the information, that okay, maybe Vidur's pictures are okay, but if it is about his financial information, maybe his bank accounts, so that is something which should be stored only in India. Or maybe if it's something about his sensitive personal information, you recollect, when I was talking about that, if I say that I have preference for this political party, if I have preference or I like this religion, I follow this God, some kind of that information, they would prefer that it's a sensitive information, let it be within India. One of the very important things, which is the second last bullet point, I'd like to highlight to all of you, new concept which is going to come in India as well, it's about data correction and erasure, which essentially means right to be forgotten. Sounds like a very interesting term. What does it mean? What it means is in European Union, it started sometime years back in European Union. What it means, it says is that if at any point of time, after 2 years, 3 years of a service of where I'm registered, where my personal data is there, if I choose to opt out, if I choose to unsubscribe. So if I say that, if today I say that, I've been using, personally, I'm saying for myself, I've been using Facebook for last, whatever, 9-10 years. But if today I had to decide that I don't want to be on Facebook, I would ask Facebook, please delete all the information about me. Please, that's the right for erasure or right to be forgotten. That please do not keep any information about me. What happens typically, in a Facebook or a Gmail or even like someone like an Airtel or even in government departments, you are a subscriber, you are a citizen. You are there in their records, and then once you unsubscribe or when you close your, maybe I'm moving the house, so I would like to close my telephone account here, or I would like to close my electricity account here. I will tell that now I don't need an electricity connection in this thing. So please remove that information. This one is still being debated quite a lot because it has one, of course, it gives a lot of privacy rights to an individual, if I suggest. But obviously, it is also to be seen in the national security's perspective, because they would like to maintain certain specific information, because unfortunately, maybe somebody with malicious intent, someone with a wrong intent would like to, if I may say, erase his or her footprint. So now, if I have done some telephone calls which were for planning something wrong, incorrect thing, and I'm asking that please erase my data records, that's not going to happen. So within the privacy law, there is a mechanism about national security, anything of national importance or something which relates to that perspective. That information will still be maintained and is not going to be erased out or forgotten. That's something which is we are yet to see, kind of a thing. That's from my side. I think again, I know maybe around 10 minutes kind of a thing which are there for the session, but happy to take questions, happy to take any feedback or comments from anyone.
Vidur, already somebody has put some questions in the chat box.
Yes, sure. Thanks a lot, Matthew. Yes, I can pick it up. I am just looking from a sequence perspective. I can see two questions. I'll just go in the chronological order. Which is the best security and privacy tool in the current year? Maybe that's a slightly broad question, because tool, you'll have to help me in terms of because when we talk about security tool can be a firewall, can be an antivirus, can be anything, and similarly for privacy also. Let me give an example, kind of a thing. For privacy also, maybe there is something called data leakage prevention, that it identifies what kind of information is stored in your Word documents, what kind of information is stored in your emails. So those are the kind of things which are used for for tools. There is something called encryption, which is used for data encryption tools, which are used for privacy, and therefore it will depend on varied. There is no answer, right or wrong answer in terms of best. You would see multiple MNCs, McCafe, Semantic, HP, RSA. You would see multiple organizations which are there. Each one of them have their strength. Each one of have their certain challenges, kind of a thing. The second related question I could see was which protocol is best. I'm assuming you intended to ask a protocol when we are using because the question when you said cybersecurity purpose. If you're relating from that is HTTP or HTTPS, which protocol, then of course HTTPS, and you would see most of the websites now have something called HTTPS, which is the secure one, which essentially means that when you are interacting on that particular website, it is encrypted communication which is going on in between that user and between that server.
Vidur Koshi here.
Yeah, Kushi.
Vidur, I would like to give a commonsensical answer to the person who asked the first question.
Yes, yes.
From whatever I've listened from you all. One is that what is the best security and privacy tool? Okay, that was a question. Okay. So I'll break them as two halves. Security. Security is about how to protect. I assume that you are not a responsible person in any organization to be, worried about that organizational data security or privacy. You're talking about your personal security. So in that case, and there again, I'm limiting to your digital security of all your digital content. So Vidur explained to you that digital content that you store in your personal machines or phones or anything, security is addressed by having certain tools like security tools that will prevent data going out. Okay, that is a tool that you can install in your machine where you store your data. More importantly, it's also the biggest security tool is your common sense. So when you access digital sites, what are the places that you're giving out your data? Whenever somebody sends you a link asking you to click there, do you feel confident that it is a secure place that you're going? When you're searching, when you're going around on the net at different sites, are you going to the sites which are are sort of feeding certain kind of information or services which are not meant to be given officially, clandestine and secret facilities like betting or pornography. These are the places where there is risk of your privacy being lost and security being lost. So when you are trying to look at the security, you have to be, and if in any place where you are, they're asking for your information, what is the information that you're giving? That is a very critical matter of your security and privacy. So when it comes to security for your machine, you can protect by some tools. When it comes to privacy, it is completely, your decision on where to share your data. And whenever any application or any site, takes data from you, it will ask you to decide on the kind of privacy that you want. Whether it is Facebook, whether it is Instagram, they will ask you. So based on how worried about you are about your information being looked at by somebody, you have to decide what privacy right you have to ascribe. So if you are not a person in a company or an organization responsible for maintaining security and privacy of that total organization, but you're thinking about thinking about your part, then you should worry about then the best tool that is there is your common sense and your initiative. Does it make sense?
I would compliment Koshi. Koshi, that's a very nice line. I like that the best tool is the common sense. And many of you, if you recollect, even in the earlier session, last cybersecurity session, I was talking about that awareness. Is fortunately or unfortunately the one where we as a country and all of us as individual have a big role to play, and many it's more, in fact not many, most of the times it's us who end up doing a miss out. And of course, uh, the challenge is that the cyber criminals or the people with the wrong intent are getting more smarter. So therefore, our awareness and our caution becomes of more importance. Okay, thanks, Koshi. With that, I'll just take up another question also, which talks about what is privacy by design and our systems based on this concept. Now, what is privacy by design? Privacy by design essentially means whenever a system is being built, when I say system, I'm sorry, system is a broad term. Whenever a system, an application, or a large IT infrastructure is being built, or services getting digitized, or being completely changed, transformed, is privacy being thought through, is privacy controls, and then same things which I talked about, that the data would, certain data would be masked, certain data will not be available, it will only be available basis certain authorizations. Those kind of basic thoughts about privacy itself being factored there and then is called privacy by design, rather than typically being enabled at a much later this thing, saying and which happens, which we do see a lot of times, that some application is made, some a mobile app or a website, and then later on a security audit happens. So privacy by design is definitely something which is needed. Are most of the system based on this concept which you asked? Unfortunately, the answer is no. Not in the past. Nowadays, yes, we do see a lot of organizations, a lot of corporate organizations, government departments paying an attention to it. But it still has a long way to go. And I'll relate to the other question which I think the same person has asked, that will privacy become a competitive differentiator in the coming years? Absolutely right. You will see that, and even from an organization's perspective, I know many of your students, you might be looking through various organizations websites and all. You will see some of them start using a logo called, we are certified, ABC certified in security, we are ABC's audit has been done, and they use that, they use that to their if I may call it advertising, marketing, or differentiator, because the intent is they want to give a comfort. So you're absolutely right. This will become a differentiator, and this is something which is considered kind of a thing to give a comfort to that service user. It can be a citizen, it can be a this thing. And an easiest example is, again, the banks that I mentioned, that if I have an ICICI bank and if I have an ABC bank, if ICICI bank advertises that, I do, these three things, I have four security measures, four privacy measures that I have deployed for your safety of your bank account, and the other bank, ABC bank, may be doing it, but they're not advertising. Me as an individual, I would like to go to ICICI because now at least they're advertising that what they will do for my security. So going forward, it will become a differentiator. It will that. I do see there are more questions there. If I may request for help from someone from MJC, like last time, that if the questions can be collated and emailed. I know I have the earlier ones also pending. I do promise to respond to both the earlier cybersec ones and the privacy collated ones. Maybe allow me 4-5 days, and I will do that. So maybe Matthew and Koshi, if that's all right, somebody can help me in collating those questions and send it back. Yeah.
Yeah, we will do it with the because I know you would be busy to get into the next meeting. So I will do it the same similarly what we did. The organizer of this meeting will collate all questions and then send it to you by mail. And you can also take your own time in answering them. Because some have come from teachers. So I'm requesting the other teachers also who are here, in case you want to put anything, questions, or students rather, please put it in before we time out this meeting. It will be collated and then sent to me.
Sure.
Koshi?
Yeah, perfect.
Over to you.
No, you should. I was just saying, Vidur, probably they will send you the questions, and sometime probably after a few months, when situation changes, we may again ask you to, come and have an interactive session with our kids, because, we believe that our team should be aware of these development and should develop a curiosity, an intelligent curiosity about these things. And in that line, Vidur, the talk that you gave was exceedingly relevant and meaningful, and it sort of help people to think in a completely different plane than from just simply by hearting some standard lines from the syllabus or from their textbook or often from the guide or some reference material that they would have got, or the guides. That is what the normal for all exam. We all mug up some standard questions from the guides. And I think that these two talks has given us an opportunity to think beyond that and be conscious about what you're reading and its implication about how it is going to change our life. And I know what we as a team in MJC, as students and teachers, are trying is to develop a certain curiosity about what we are learning and how it influences our life, and how we can use that in our in our day-to-day life, or when we go into our career, without just forgetting everything that we learned from the college and then try to build up all over again. So thank you, Vidur. In this line, I'm extremely thankful to you for having spent valuable almost 3 hours in 2 days, and probably some more hours to answer all those questions. And we look forward to connecting with you sometime in future. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Koshi, and thank you very much, Matthew. It was great interacting with students, and I'm really happy to be here. And yes, Koshi, absolutely. Maybe later on, whenever you believe is the right time, if there is something else, a slightly more detailed session, or on a specific topic within these two themes, if I may call it, if it's needed, which is needed by students, I would happy to come over again. But I'm so glad that these concepts, these themes are of interest to everybody. I do see so many students logged in last time as well, and this time. So at least personally, as a cybersec or a privacy professional, it makes me feel happy that young college students are interested to know more about these areas, and definitely there is a lot of opportunities as we go forward. I did talk a lot on how everything is moving to digital, and I'm sure each one of us is seeing that around us in our lives. So therefore these themes, these topics will become even more relevant as we go along. So thanks a lot. Glad to be here. Happy to be.
Yeah, Vidur, two things. One is we have all recorded your sessions, and we will be putting up in our MJC YouTube channel. I will send you links for that. You can also watch them. And then second is, as you said, if it is okay with you, you can share the slides in my mail.
Yes.
I will make sure that it is circulated to the faculty, as well as we will put it up in the relevant classes, because we have started Google Classroom.
Okay.
So it will become as a document for you.
Sure. I'll share it. I'll share it.
Okay. Thank you so much from all of us here. And also, I have a small request, because we have another series of web talks on I Believe I Can Fly. It is sharing your personal life and story and your motivational stories. We have another series going on. So if you still feel like coming on board, we have another platform for you. In fact, I would like you to come and share about what your life story was. Again, I will send you the link for the YouTube channel. You can see there are many people who have already come on board and presented. Thank you so much from all of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.